Hey everybody, I'm Caleb Reinhold from UltimateMichiganFishing.com. Today we're going to talk about what you need to get started fly fishing for trout. Obviously the first thing you're going to need is going to be a fly rod. Then you're going to need a floating fly line. 95% of the time when you're trout fishing you're going to be using a floating fly line. Attached to that fly line you're going to need what's called a tapered leader. That leader is going to help you make a nice delicate presentation to a trout. Then obviously you're going to need a fly reel to hold on to the fly line and the leader. And you're going to need a fly to catch a fish. The last thing you're going to need to get started fly fishing for trout is a pair of forceps. When you catch a fish, you're going to have to take the fly out of its mouth. And the easiest way to do that for you and on the fish is going to be to take a pair of forceps, grab that fly, push it back, and then pull it right out. That's going to be what you need to get started fly fishing for trout. No matter what type of water you're fishing on, sooner or later you're going to want to get in it. The easiest way to do that is with a pair of wading boots and a set of waders. Also, as you fish, you're going to start to notice that trout are pretty selective in their feeding habits. To counteract that, you're going to need a small collection of flies that you can use to match the hatch. You're going to want to store them in a nice high-quality fly box that keeps your flies organized and dry. You should be able to find one for around $20. Also, as you fish, you're going to start to notice that after a while, your flies will start to drown in the water. They're going to start to sink into the water, and the way that you counteract that is before you go fishing, you're going to apply what's called floatant to your flies. You're going to just rub it into the material on the fly, and then let it dry for a few minutes, and then you can fish with it. Even though you use floatant, most of the time flies will start to sink a little bit. What you can do while you're on the river to counteract that is to take what's called dry shake, open the top, take the fly still attached to your line, drop it in, close the top, shake it around, open it up, and keep fishing. As you attach and detach flies from your leader, you're going to start to snip it back quite a bit. To extend that leader again, you're going to use what's called tippet at the end of your leader, and it's going to extend that leader back to its original length. You're going to want to have three sizes, one that's the same size as your leader, one larger, and one smaller. That's going to let you throw smaller and heavier flies using the same leader. I would also recommend getting an assortment of leaders so that you can throw different size flies. The last thing you're going to want is a little pair of snippers here to make nice clean cuts. Those clean cuts are going to give you less knot failures while you're fishing. Now that you've got all this stuff, you're going to need somewhere to store it. I recommend a vest when I'm fishing on a river. If I'm going to be fishing on a boat, I definitely recommend a chest pack. A lot of people will use both in different situations. Some people prefer the chest pack, some people prefer the vest. I have one of each, but when I'm fishing on a river, I like to use a vest. And when I'm fishing on a boat, I like to use the chest pack. Well, I hope I was able to answer some of your questions about what you need to start fly fishing for trout. If you do have any more questions about anything we talked about in this video, just go ahead and post them in the Ask an Expert section of the site, and I'll be sure to answer them. All right. Until next time, tight lines, guys.